Welcome once again here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. I'm Paul Condry, the voice of the Bethel Pilots for the long time, past 25 years now, joined by Steve Drabyn, the head coach of the Pilots. Steve, I can't believe it's a quarter century been here inside this Gates Gymnasium, and so thankful. I look back on time to Mike Lightfoot for giving me the opportunity to come over here and be a part of this, and it has been so neat to see so many great student athletes, coaches, as well as a lot of success. And of course, talk about success. Last year was a tremendously successful finish to the season with winning the NCCAA National Championship. I know it's been pretty cool for you to be able to be in this position as a head coach, as it's been much well documented by me. Had a chance to watch you grow up, to be in this position, to make the difference in the lives of so many people, and to be able to glorify the Lord during the entire road and the journey that you've been on. It's been really cool. So Bethel basketball, as we get ready to get underway, what are you excited the most about?
Well, first off, glad to have you back for year number 25. That's awesome. Glad Coach Lightfoot made that call many years ago, and happy to continue the relationship. Building that growing up as a LaPorte slicer, but I'm excited. A lot of different areas. Obviously, the three guys coming back that are going to come talk to you here in a little bit, and we got a good mixture of experience. Some core guys coming back from our roster from last year, and got some key newcomers, transfer guys, and then some young freshmen that are exciting players that are working hard and ready to come in and make a difference. And really just to build off of our last year NCCAA National Championship was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we did it. And had a really good week over there at Grace, winning 3 games, and not many teams can say they have a 3-game winning streak going into the year. And then our mission trip we took in July, and into the season now. Really excited for this group. They've created a bond, a togetherness, and could be more excited to get this thing going.
I want you to take me back to walking off the floor at the Orthopedic Capital Center with the blue banner. I want you to think back on the most unlikely of heroes in life, Granville having the greatest game of his career. You look back on so many people stepping up and playing so many pivotal roles, and guys just sometimes some way found ways to just play after play. It was really kind of a testament to what you learned about your group, but most importantly, what you learned about what the Crossroads League made your team to be.
There's no doubt. And, a sign on our door at Belmont where I played basketball, our coach had it on the door walking out to the floor, was it's amazing what can be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. And I think about that week, and we had a bunch of guys on the team during that week that didn't care who got the credit, and it was all about winning and making the effort to win and doing it together. And we had different guys step up at different times, and we had our share of adversity that week. Some guys leaving the team, injuries. Drew Lutz. A lot of people don't remember he didn't play the second half of that semifinal, and then Nathan Ertz goes and gets the rotavirus and doesn't play in that final game. He tried. He made the trip over there. And, doing our shoot around, he's in the bathroom, and he tried to shoot around and made the trip over there. And Michelle and Bob Ertz went back in the locker room, took care of him, then took him to the ER. And luckily he was okay and is okay. And but it was a lot of fun. Life Granville, the unlikely hero that stepped up, and so happy for him. Of all the people, like his family, obviously our staff, but his teammates were so happy for him and the success he had in that tournament, that game. Really rewarding as a coach to see somebody like that go out on top with a win.
Well, obviously you're excited about the 5-year guys coming back. That's to say the least. But a very promising incoming freshman class. You've got some really neat transfers that are going to bolster your opportunities in your roster. So we're going to talk a little bit about all those things. But obviously the 3 boys that we're going to be talking with here today, great to see them back. And Drew Lutz, of course, I had a chance to watch Drew play when he was over at Penn High School. Nate, I had a chance to watch him play at Valpo. He's playing in what I think is one of the toughest conferences in the state, a league that I grew up in, the Duneland Conference. That's brutal. So he had that's kind of like a cursor to coming into the Crossroads League. And then Trent played in a really great league in the Northern Lakes Conference. So those 3 great basketball leagues really kind of prepared our 3 guys that we're going to talk with here a little bit later today. But let's just talk about those 3 boys since they're representing the Bethel men's basketball program here today on Media Day.
Yeah, no doubt. And when we recruit players out of high school and even transfers, we look at the programs they've come from. And those three coaches that they played for. Al Rhodes, Coach Brock Coleman, who played here, and then Coach Aaron Wolf over at Northwood. Guys that do things the right way. They're demanding. They know the game, and there's nothing like Indiana high school basketball players. I'm biased from the state. Those one high school towns where everybody goes to the games, and a lot of the gyms in the state of Indiana have more people than the town itself. And so, those three guys, starts with them. Their experience, their season, they've been through it.
Mm-hmm.
They've been through the grind. They've been through the tough conditioning test in the preseason, and those guys are going to help our young men, understand what it means to be a college basketball player and how to balance your time and how to work, how to lead, how to handle adversity. There's so many things that our young guys, even our transfers, that don't know about the crossroads. Even Drew Lutz, as good of a player as he is, I'm excited for him this year because he went through a year of the league, not knowing a lot about it. Now he's got a feel for the coaches in this league, the players, the physicality, the officiating, those kind of things. And obviously having Nate and Trent who've been through it, who understand it, just having that experience, it's invaluable as a coach because player-led teams are so much better than coach-led teams.
Obviously, we'll talk with the veterans that are here right now. We'll get some thoughts from Drew and from Nate, but both played pivotal roles, but different roles. Drew's going to have the ball in his hands a good portion of the contest. Nate's going to have to get you some key rebounds. He's got to be a beast inside, and he has grown exponentially from that skinny little freshman that came over from VHS to where he's at right now. And Drew likewise I remember watching him. I did his very first game in high school, and I'll never forget who was this skinny little runt coming out onto the floor here at the Palace at Penn High School. But to see their physical maturation is really cool. It's great to see their basketball skills maturation. But I think what to me is the coolest thing, since I've known these guys since they've been here, is to see their spiritual development as well as their development as young men. They're going to be great fathers someday.
No doubt. You're talking about Nathan Erich as a rebounder. I know he's going to be. What is he right now in rebounding in the Bethel history?
Yeah, he's going to be in that upper echelon. Yeah,
maybe top 5. But he led us in 3-point field goal percentage last year. 51% in the Crossroads League. So we got to talk about that about Nathan Erich. I think he was 7 for 9 in our scrimmage the other day from 3.
And the scary thing about that, he started the season like 1 for 18.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he comes in, and next thing he hits like 9 out of 10 or something in a game, and you could just see the confidence. It's just like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, no doubt. We shoot a lot in practice, probably more than most teams do, and I think his shot, he's improved the mechanics of it, and so it gets it out in front of his head. So the less move you have in the shot, the less chance for error. So he's shooting a lot better with a lot more confidence, and but yeah, just his veteran knowledge, he brings a lot of value to our team that doesn't show up on a stat page.
Sure.
He's maybe our best help side defender. Drew might disagree on that one, but he does so many things that you don't see on a stat page. I try to find minuses in practice, watching film. It's hard to find him with him because he does so many things well. Trent's very similar. Gets a lot out of his ability. He's a great defender. He understands details. He gets things right on the floor. He knows what he does best. He plays to his strengths. And then obviously Drew Lutz, with the ball in his hand a lot. He makes other guys around him better. He broke our school record for assist-to-turnover ratio last year, shattered it. 3.2, I believe.
That's crazy.
To 1 ratio. And those 3 guys are going to make others better. They're unselfish. They're team guys. And they do what it takes to win. And then the spiritual part of it, I got to talk about that. We were on the mission trip, which was a lot of fun, and we played 2 games there. And the guys will tell you that wasn't the most important part of the trip. I share this story a lot of times. We won a tough, close game, double overtime against a kind of semi-pro team over there. It was a lot of fun, and we're back at our church that we were staying in, kind of doing reflections of the day and of the game. And Drew mentioned that the game was awesome, it was fun, it was great to win the game, but it gives us a bigger platform to share the gospel.
Sure.
And me as a coach, that's why we do the trip, and that's why we do that. So that was rewarding for me.
You know, we also should probably mention the fact that Philip Segoda's been here forever. I think he came in about the same time I was coming in, so
Yeah.
he's been around. But he's a great program kid. I think that's something we should certainly point out, that this is going to be his final go-around. This guy has done a great job not only in the classroom, but also he is the picturesque teammate, very similar to what Life Granville was last year for your squad. It was just do whatever it takes, and he's had to fight through injuries and setback after setback. It's really kind of a remarkable story that where he's at right now.
There's no doubt he's been an awesome program guy for our team, and just on and off the floor, 3.9 GPA. Gosh, I think he's working 25 hours right now, and he's an awesome teammate. Guys love him. He does everything well. He made a great comment in our first team meeting. I asked him to share with our other leaders, and he said, "I love this team because guys aren't afraid to step up, but the guys are also willing to step down, if they need to in their role." And that's Phil. He's been awesome for this team.
Also another veteran coming back, Al Petulis, who may have been the surprise of the Crossroads League. He certainly was. He got better. Boy, I tell you what, his ability to find the basketball is absolutely somewhat remarkable, because next thing you know, he's coming out of nowhere and he's got a rebound. He is just. Back in my day, there was a guy by the name of Paul Silas who played for the Boston Celtics, who he was a rebounding machine. He just was always around the rebounds, and he's done a great job. And he offensively, if he gets it going, you guys are going to be really, really difficult to handle with him.
I think he's going to be Nathan Ertz this year as far as how he was shooting the ball last year, and I think he's improved that part of his game tremendously. But yeah, you're right. He has such a knack for the basketball. Ball's up, see all these hands going after it, then you see Al's come out of nowhere. But great teammate, great guy. He's worked on his game a lot. It was fun in the DR, that game I was talking about that Drew mentioned. Drew drove at one time, dished it off to Al. He dunked it two-handed, and he's coming down the floor doing 360s and jumping up and down. He hardly shows emotion, but he showed it that time. It was so much fun to see and watch.
You've got some transfers that are going to play some pivotal minutes for you. I want a local kid who went to Plymouth High School. Clay Hilliard is in your program right now, and let's talk about him in regards to, and he also, Preston Phillips, is a kid who I had a chance to see play in high school. Let's just talk about the new kids coming in that expectations are really high, not only for minutes, but also from a production standpoint.
Yeah, Clay's been in this league 4 years. He understands it, been through it, the gauntlet of it. He's an elite shooter. Can't give him space. He's got range, 4 or 5 feet beyond the three-point line. Guys like Drew Lutz, Nathan Ertz, Trent Edwards, who are guys who can get the ball in the paint. Nate can post. They're such unselfish guys. They make the smart play. He's going to get looks because of those guys. And so it's nice to have somebody like that who can stretch the floor. And then who's the other guy you mentioned? Preston Phillips, from Jimtown here, played at Evansville for 2 years. I think he's grown 3 inches since he's been in college. He's gained, 30 pounds or something like that. But he's another unselfish player that's not afraid to give the ball up, and he makes the right play. He was a point guard in high school.
Yeah.
For Matt Schaus, another former player here. So it's nice having that unique ability of his where he can handle it, pass it, shoot it. We can play small with him. He can play in the perimeter. We can go big, and Preston could play 4. Nate could play a 3. And so we've got a lot at our disposal to use. Can play big, can play small, can put shooters in there. Got ball handlers. So it's nice for a coach to have all that at his disposal.
As you look at the rest of the roster, I've got some other kids in here that have great potential, transfers, and then we'll talk about the freshman class. But the other transfers that are coming in, I know you're excited about as well.
Yeah, Jameer Jefferson played for Coach Greg Miller over at Trinity International a couple years ago. He brings a level of ability to guard the ball, and has got some strength, got some experience. He's a 21-year-old freshman, with the COVID year, so he'll be able to provide some value for us. Andrew Hedrick from Columbia City has had a good start to practice here in these first 2 weeks. Austin Kripe from West Noble, all-time leading scorer there, can put the ball in the basket. He's continuing to get better and better. Luke McBride, son of a coach, Mike McBride, who played here in the mid-'90s,
Sure.
won a national title or 2. Coach's kid, tough, smart, makes open shots, makes the right play. Aiku may transfer from Bethel College, in Kansas to now here at Bethel University. Strong, tough, can defend the post, unselfish. And then Alex Ellenson from Northridge, 6'8", mobile, can run. He's got a high ceiling. It's going to only get better.
All right, when you look at the big move, I thought, in the offseason was you were able to get a steal of a deal and get one of the all-time great Crossroads League players, and Greg Miller to come back into this league. Been around the league, recruited in this league. He tore this league up when he was a player. He's joined your coaching staff as your primary assistant. Let's just talk about associate head coach Greg Miller. He was a head coach at 2 other schools. He knows the game. He played for one of the greatest coaches in the history of college basketball, and Jim Kessler. Talk about what he has, the kind of energy and excitement that that infusion of him being involved.
Yeah, he's been great. Great addition to our staff, to our program. Son of a coach, son of 2 teachers. Grew up in Indiana. Played at Grace under Coach K. Hall of Fame coach. Obviously knows the league. Very, very good player, All-American, All-Conference guy. Just brings a infectious energy about him that's contagious. He's just lifted my spirits, our staff, our players. He's got a great understanding of the game. He's kind of helping us, push our team defensively, trying to get better on that end of the floor. With how we play, and so he's been awesome. Just somebody who's got 6 years of head coaching experience that can bounce ideas off of, and been really good for me. Just having a guy that can care for our players well, and our staff as well.
Give us an idea as you look at the flyover of the best league in America and the Crossroads League. You guys have a very unique schedule because you guys are going to be going out to Oregon to play in that very competitive Cascade area, and as well as the Crossroads League, as well as a pretty competitive non-league schedule on the road as well as here at home. Let's talk about the Crossroads League. You better bring your A game or you're going to be sitting at home.
There's no doubt. I mean, the league, I feel like it just keeps getting better each year.
It does.
Just from a talent standpoint, from a depth, just coaches have done a great job recruiting, putting together rosters that fit them and their style. I'm not shying away from playing against really good non-conference opponents because I think that prepares us. I think our Oregon Tech game may be our toughest non-conference game because it's at their place. It's Friday night. It opens up the season for them. They wanted us in that first game. That's going to be really, really hard game for us to play. Then you got Georgetown coming to our place, Shawnee State, who's won the national title a couple years ago. It's going to be extremely challenging, which I think is going to help prepare us for a tough Crossroads, and which if we're able to get through the Crossroads and finish towards the top of our league, we have a chance to make the national tournament, which gives us an ability to cut down a red banner, which is what we want.
When you look at this roster, you look at depth at the guards. You got some best shooters. You got some great ball handlers. Do you look at this group and say, listen, if we can get this to go well, and we can get this to go well, we've got a chance to make a deep run, not only in the Crossroads League, but also a deep run nationally? Or do you look at this team, Steve, and say, boy, I tell you what, I'd like to have Drew West for another 3 or 4 years, Nathan Ayers for another 3 or 4 years. But that's these boys' chances to really make an impact on this talented freshman class. There's so many underlying storylines here for you to talk about in our closing thought here. So take it away. Tell me what you're thinking with 10 new faces and 5 returning guys.
The first thing for me, basketball is such a long season, especially NAI. We start mid-September. We're going till, hopefully March. And so just keeping these guys healthy, number one, just being smart on practice times and staying, working hard in the weight room so that their bodies are, able to withstand a tough schedule. Really pushing them to eat well, to rest well, stretch, all those things. That's number one. Number two, I think with so many new faces, 10 new guys, just the chemistry piece is going to be huge for us. Obviously got a good core coming back with those 3 right there. Trent, Drew, and Nate, and Alan, Phil. Bringing 10 new guys. We've got one thing we've tried to do a lot this early season practice is play, just to get them used to each other, understanding how each other operates and create that rhythm. So I think, health number one, and then number two, just building that chemistry. And that's why we did the mission trip. That's why we did our retreat a couple weeks ago. But each season's different. Each season's new. And as we hit adversity, we've not hit any yet. I'm excited to see how our guys respond and do it together.
What's going to be neat, a couple games, neutral site. They're going to have IUSB and Holy Cross both on the schedule, and Goshen part of that really neat package, the CCAC Crossroads League Challenge. That's great for the local fans. This is something that college basketball needs to do more of. Can you speak to the importance of having this kind of environment for the student athletes of these four institutions?
Yeah, for sure. So, playing IUSB, Holy Cross, local teams, we'll always do that as long as I'm here. If it's good with them, because it just makes sense. They're close. The rivalry, they're great coaches. They're going to help prepare us for the league. They've got good rosters. They're fun games to play. Our guys know a lot of their guys. They play against each other in the summers. It just makes sense, and they're fun games to play. And bragging rights, across town type deal. So I'm looking forward to those, and our guys too are as well.
Final question: what do you have to do to win the Crossroads League? What do you have to do to get to the NAI National Tournament? And finally, what do you have to do to bring home either another blue banner or another red banner?
Number one, stay healthy. Number two, guys got to play together. We've got to be able to handle adversity. The league is so tough when you lose a game or two. How do you handle that? Can you have a good practice that next day? Can you stay confident in what you do and your abilities? Can you stay together? Can you, if you're you have one game where maybe you play big because you're playing against a Grace or a Marion, then you play an IWU or a Huntington and they play small. Can that guy who maybe played 20, 25 minutes, can he be okay with 5 to 10? If we can keep that chemistry at a high level, guys not being afraid to step up and also guys not being afraid to step down, it gives us a great chance to be successful and give ourselves a chance to be at the top of the league and win it.
Don't forget Bethel basketball all season long here on Regional Radio Sports. Coach, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Once again, we'll be back with more here on our Media Day extravaganza. Once again, for Coach Steve Drabyn, I'm Paul Condry. Thanks for joining us here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.